Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered why it's hard to get people to cooperate when everyone could benefit but no one wants to go first? Well, today's study dives into that exact puzzle. So imagine a group project or even big things like countries agreeing on climate change. Everyone's supposed to chip in for the good of the group, but each person thinks, hey, if everyone else does the work, I can still get the benefit without doing anything. This is the classic social dilemma. Scientists have studied this for ages. They know that if someone cooperates early, it can encourage others to do the same. But what if nobody is telling you when to go first? What if you can choose your own timing? Think about countries making pledges to reduce emissions before a big meeting. If one country steps up early with a strong pledge, it can inspire others. But if everyone waits to see what others do, nothing happens. This is where this new research gets really interesting. The researchers wanted to know how the timing of our decisions affects cooperation, especially when we can choose when to act. They compared 3 ways people played a simple cooperation game. First, there was simultaneous play. Everyone decides at the same time without knowing what the other person is doing. Then there was assigned order. One person was told they go first and the other goes second. And finally, there was real-time interaction. Both people had a window of time, say 60 seconds, where they could make their decision whenever they wanted. The important part here is that whoever chose to act first became the first mover. The order wasn't assigned, it emerged naturally. So what happened when people could choose their own timing? It turns out they cooperated the most. In the real-time condition, nearly 2/3 of the pairs managed to cooperate with each other. That's way better than the other 2 conditions. In the assigned order, it was about half, and in the simultaneous decision game, it was less than 1/3. But here as a twist, it wasn't because people were more likely to be the first one to cooperate in the real-time game. The researchers actually found that the number of people choosing to cooperate first was pretty much the same, whether the order was assigned or they chose it themselves in real time. So if it wasn't about more people being early cooperators, what was it? It was the second movers. When the first mover chose to cooperate voluntarily, in the real-time game, the second mover was much more likely to cooperate back. In the real-time game, almost 94% of the time when the first person cooperated, the second person did too. But in the assigned order game, the number dropped to around 75%. That's a big difference. So why did this happen? The researchers created a mathematical model to figure it out. They think it's all about trust and signals. When you can freely choose when to make your move, in real time it's different from being told to go first. If you choose to cooperate early when you could have waited and seen what your partner did, that early cooperation becomes a stronger signal. It tells your partner, hey, I am serious about cooperating and I risk doing it first. Think about it like this. If you are forced to go first, you play it safe and cooperate. But if you have the option to wait and you still choose to cooperate early, it's like saying, I really believe in this. This voluntary early cooperation is a bigger deal. It makes the second mover trust you more and be more willing to reciprocate. This is pretty cool because it suggests that it is not just about being a nice person, it is about how our actions send signals and how those signals are interpreted, especially when there is uncertainty. The researchers also looked at when people made their decisions. In the real-time game, when people decided to defect, not cooperate, they often waited until almost the very end of the time window. That's a strategic delay. They were probably hoping the other person would cooperate first. Or maybe they just wanted to avoid committing to defection too early. On the flip side, people who intended to cooperate tended to decide earlier. This difference in timing between cooperators and defectors is a key part of why the real-time system works. Because cooperators are more likely to act early and defectors tend to wait. The person who ends up going first in real time is more likely to be a cooperator. And as we saw, when a cooperator goes first, the other person is more likely to cooperate back. They even did some fancy math to figure out what people would have done if they had all gone first. It confirmed that people who intended to cooperate were more likely to act early. But it also showed that some people who might have cooperated if they were assigned first still waited if they had the choice in real time. This waiting and seeing strategy is a big part of the story. Now, let's talk about the second movers again. The study checked if people who were second movers in real time were just naturally more cooperative than those in the assigned order. To check this, they used a survey called Social Value Orientation, or SVO. It basically measures how much people care about others versus themselves. They found that people in both groups had similar SVO scores. This means the second movers in real time weren't just a more prosocial group of people. The reason they cooperated more had to be because of the situation itself, that real-time voluntary timing changed how they felt about cooperating. So the big takeaway here is that allowing people to choose their timing in a social dilemma doesn't necessarily make them more fundamentally cooperative. Instead, it changes how much weight their cooperation signals. When you voluntarily choose to cooperate early, you are sending a much stronger, more credible message of trust and good intentions than if you were simply told to go first. This stronger signal boosts the other person's willingness to reciprocate. This mechanism is important because it relies on humans being able to think about what could have been. If you had the option to wait but you didn't, you are making a statement. This kind of counterfactual thinking that I could have waited, but I didn't is probably something humans are particularly good at, and it's what makes real-time interaction effective for cooperation. Think about social entrepreneurs or people starting new community initiatives. They often commit resources and time to uncertain projects. This looks risky, but it's not just taking a risk, it's a way of signaling their commitment and belief in the project, which attracts others and makes the whole thing more likely to succeed. It's like saying, I believe in this so much that I am putting my neck out for it. Now, like all studies, this has some limitations. They studied pairs of people, and real-world problems often involve bigger groups. So we don't know for sure if this signaling effect works the same way with larger teams. Also, they looked at a one-time game. In real life, we interact over and over, and that can change people's preferences over time. It would be interesting to see if being in real time situations could actually make people more cooperative in the long run, not just in that single interaction. So what is the big picture here? Real-time interaction in social dilemmas helps people cooperate by making early cooperation a more powerful signal. It's not about forcing people to be nice, but about creating a system where genuine cooperative intent is clearer and more convincing. It's a fascinating look at how timing and signals shape our social lives. What do you think about this? Does the idea of voluntary early cooperation being a stronger signal make sense to you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into human behavior, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more fascinating science. Well, see you in the next one.